Okay, today is Genesis 9:21. Genesis 9:21. uh,
No, dude, are
Gen-
you really kidding with me? Are you really kidding me? Oh
Sorry,
my
what?
god, what the fuck?
I'm going to read the book here.
Oh, you're reading the book.
Yeah, you can see on the stream.
Yeah, I can see it. I just clicked on the video and I came here by mistake. I was talking with someone.
We can read together if you want. If you can read, I read one section, one verse, and you can read next
Bro, I
verse.
can read, but what is that? Like, what kind of book is it?
It's the book of Emmanuel Swedenborg. This book.
Se-
You can see.
Secrets of Heaven, Volume 2. Wow,
uh, It's
sweet
about
boy.
spiritual meaning of the book of Genesis of the Bible.
Oh,
A spiritual meaning, like inner meaning of
how
the
many
book of
hours you
Genesis.
read a day?
Uh, I have read maybe 4 books of Emmanuel Swedenborg here. Maybe I am reading maybe 3 months here his
No,
books.
I mean, like, yeah, you're reading for it. But how many hours a day you read books?
Maybe 2 hours, 2 or 3 hours every day.
Every day. Wow.
In this time like this.
Oh, wow.
Actually, I train my reading and I learn English from these books, and it's a good way to learn English. And I learn to read fastly.
Oh,
Mm, and I see it works for me, because when I started reading books of Swedenborg, I was reading very slowly, but now I can read fastly. It's like a miracle for me.
wow.
Because if you will read books every day, you can read fastly, and actually,
Yeah,
you can speak from your reading, because when you read books, you can see English grammar constructions, and you can speak more correctly and quickly in English, because.
yeah.
Mhm.
And you're right. And it's like
And
a key drink wine means that they wanted to explore religious questions and became drunk means that they consequently fell into error and was uncovered in the middle of his tent. Symbolism. What is that? Symbolize.
symbolizes is like meaning. It's like corresponds, maybe.
Oh, oh, okay.
Symbolizes.
Symbolizes. Do you see, like denote, this word? Maybe I translate from synonyms.
Denote.
Denote, like indicate, specify,
Oh,
refer, and mean. Maybe symbolizes like means.
oh, it's like the resulting perversions. What is that? Perversions.
Resulting perversions. Resulting like result. It's like
No, no, not
what you
resulting. I know this word. Perversions.
perversions.
Yeah.
Perversions like distortion,
Perversions.
Oh, deviation.
deviation,
Yeah.
distortion. Yeah, like corruption maybe.
Oh,
Perversions.
the middle of the tent.
For
Okay.
example, if you take a truth, any truth, and you can corrupt the truth, and to make the truth by falsity, by falsehood, it means you made a
Oh,
perversions like this.
wow.
Perversions.
Ah, yeah, perversions.
Wow.
Perversions.
Now moving to the next page, right?
The middle of the tent is that which is the primary concerns of one's faith. Go on, next
Yeah, you read it.
section.
I'm not listening.
The fact that he drank wine means that they wanted to explore religious questions can be seen from the symbolism of wine.
Yeah.
A vineyard or grape wine, as shown, is a spiritual religion or the people of a spiritual church. Grapes and clusters and bunches of grapes are its fruit, and they symbolize charity and the effects of charity. Wine, though, symbolizes the faith that grows out of charity and everything that goes to make up faith. So a grape is the heavenly side of the church, while wine is the spiritual side. The former, the heavenly part, belongs to the will, as noted as so often before, while the latter, the spiritual part, belongs to the intellect. The fact that he drank some wine means that they wanted to explore religious questions and do so by the use of false reasoning can be seen from the circumstance that he became drunk, which is to say that they fell into error. The people of this church did not have the perception that the people of the earliest church had. They needed instead to learn what was good and true by studying religious teachings that had been gathered from the perceptions of the earliest church and saved up teachings that were the word. Like the word, these religious teachings in many areas were such that they could not be believed in the absence of perception, because spiritual and heavenly matters rise infinitely beyond human comprehension. That was the reason for their use of skewed reasoning. I forgot what is skewed. Skewed reasoning. Yeah,
Skewed.
like distorted. Skewed. Of their use of skewed reasoning, but people who refuse to believe a thing unless they grasp it with the senses are completely incapable of believing, as has been demonstrated many times already. The symbolism in the words of grapes as charity and all it entails, and that of wine as the resulting faith and all it entails, can be seen from the following passages in Isaiah. My beloved had a vineyard on a horn of the offspring of oil. He waited for it to produce grapes, and it produced wild grapes. The grapes stand for charity and its fruits. In Jeremiah, I will utterly destroy them, says Jehovah. There are no grapes on the grapevine, and no figs on the fig tree. The grapevine stands for a spiritual religion, and the grapes for charity. In Hosea, Israel was like grapes in the wilderness when I discovered him. Your ancestors were like first fruit on a young fig tree when I saw them. Israel stands for the ancient church, a grape for the fact that its people possessed the gift of charity. The meaning is just the opposite when Israel refers to Jacob's children in Micah. There is no cluster of grapes to eat. An early fig is what my soul has desired. The godly person has perished off the earth, and an upright person does not exist among humankind. The cluster of grapes stands for charity or a godly quality, while the early fruit stands for faith or what is upright. In Isaiah, this is what Jehovah has said. Just as new wine is found in the cluster, and they say, do not spoil it because there is a blessing in it. The cluster stands for charity, the new wine for the good effects of charity and the truth that they lead to. In Moses, he washed his clothing in wine and his robe in the blood of grapes. The prophecies of the Lord. These prophecies of the Lord, the wine stands for a spiritual element that comes from a heavenly one, and the blood of grapes for what which plays a heavenly role in spiritual religions. So the grapes stand for charity itself, and the wine for faith itself. In John, the angel said, "Send in the sharp sickle. Send in the sharp sickle. It's sickle. It looks like cycle, but it's sickle. I know this word.
Sickle.
Sickle. Sorry, I was wrong. It's sickle.
Sickle.
It's not sickle. It's sickle.
Yeah.
Sickle. It's like sword. It's like a knife for reaping wheat.
Oh,
Sickle. Grapes, or to ripe grains, like wheat in the field. Sharp sickle and harvest the earth clusters because its grapes have ripened or ripened, yeah, or ripened. How
I
to
don't know.
pronounce ripened?
Ripened.
Yeah, ripened. Ripened.
Sure.
It's like mature.
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 Like grown
Became
up.
mature. Yeah, ripened. Grown up and are going to be ripped. Ripped. Or ripped. Maybe ripped or ripped. How to say? I ripped. Ripped. Maybe. Okay. This maybe we can see the meaning of ripened and rip. No, maybe in dictionary. It's like
I think ripe is
irregular.
like in the fruit, like a mature fruit, something.
Growing
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like growing.
Con
When
như
it's grown
gì
up,
thì xếp bạn
ripened.
Is it irregular verb or regular verb? Like
It's like a
a
old
ripe.
word.
mà bó phải là
Like you can use
Ripe.
mature instead of ripe.
mà bó phải là
Fully grown
Ripe.
and
Yeah, fully grown and developed.
yeah,
So
that's
it's like
mature.
mature mm,
Mature
fruit
has
or something.
Like a ripe,
I've never heard this word before.
ripe, yeah?
Like a
Yeah,
ripe apple.
ripe.
Ripened.
But ripened. It's, if it is ripe, yeah, but ripened. Like ripe, not ripe, but ripe, ripened. Yeah, ripened.
Yeah.
Like end of ripe, yeah? It's interesting, okay.
Okay,
Ripened.
go on. Just okay. It's like ripened, grown up thing, like mature. It's at its fullest stage.
Yes, I get it.
Okay, this is about the final days when there is no faith, there is no charity. After all, there is no faith other than the faith that belongs to charity. In its essence, faith is charity. So when the statement is made that there is no longer any faith, as is true in the final days, it means that there is no charity. Just as grapes symbolize charity, wine symbolizes the faith that develops out of charity, since wine comes from grapes. In addition to the passages speaking of vineyards and grape wines, uh, cited here and earlier. What is difference vineyards and grape wines? Grape wines, because it's like the same thing, yeah. Grape wine. No. It's like grape wines, like branches, like trees. Maybe we can see the
Maybe
picture
part of
because
the
I know what is
vineyard.
maybe trees of the vineyard, but it's grape wines and vineyard. Vineyard is like a garden, but grape wines like.
It's like
Yeah, it's
grapes
like
were.
it's like branches. Yeah, branches with grapes. Yeah, grape wine grow in Korean for and
Yeah.
maybe you can see in dictionary. Because vineyard is like garden, yeah, but grape wines is like trees. Maybe in dictionary you can see. Grape wine. An informal person to person means to circulating information of or gossip. Maybe it's like
It's like
I
a
don't know
secret.
what.
Yeah, it's a secret source of information.
Mm,
It has a lot of
okay,
meanings.
and
Not a lot of, but like 2 meanings.
ah, yeah, synonym. Do you see grape wine? Synonym vineyard and grape and wine, but it's like
I mean,
maybe
like
it's like
the
it's like
book
branches.
in my like the book context is different from the meaning. Like I mean, what they mean in
Yeah.
the book is different. Speaking of vineyard and
Mm-hmm.
grape wine cited
Mm-hmm.
here in
Yeah.
Italy. So they were talking about grape wines that we've seen on picture. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But if you
You
will
know.
see pictures of vineyards, maybe it will be different picture because it's like a garden. For example, you can see vineyards. I think it's like
Hey,
garden. Hello.
Okay.
hi.
One second.
Oh, it's open like
Капец.
Google Maps.
Тебя Google засрат.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
Do you
like
see?
a garden of grapes.
Ладно.
Yeah. Do you see?
Yeah, in
Ой,
It is
that
like a lot of
context.
trees.
Yeah. A
это
lot of
похоже на,
trees of
на
grapes.
пшеничное поле.
Speak English, please. It's English speaking channel. Yeah, it's
Okay.
vineyard.
But
It's not about grapes, but it's about trees. A lot of trees, like
Yeah.
garden.
Garden of
But
grape trees,
кашалот.
like grape wines.
cited here and earlier, the following quotations will demonstrate this fact. In Isaiah, gladness and exaltation.
Yeah,
Do
this
you
one
see
is a new word.
yeah, like two words. It's very important because if you see two words together with similar meaning, but it means these words have any difference, and we should understand the meaning of both of them. Because what is gladness? Yeah, you know what is gladness. Yeah, it's like when you are glad and happy, you feel joy and happiness, rejoicing. This is gladness.
Gladness.
Because it's like a pair of words, and they they are together here. And what is the difference between gladness and exaltation?
But
It's
they are having the
exaltation,
same
and we should
meaning. Delight.
exaltation like. For example, you can say I feel gladness, and you can say I feel exaltation. And what's the difference? And I can say, oh, you
I'm
feel
delighted.
exaltation.
Like I'm delighted, but I'm exalted. Yeah. I'm feeling
Exaltation.
exaltation.
Mhm.
I'm feeling exaltation. I don't know, exaltated.
In my understanding, you feel exaltation when you win a winner in a battle or in a lottery, maybe $1 million you won, and it's like you feel exaltation. It's like
Tino,
very
Tito,
happy.
that is
Yeah.
an insult. Okay. I mean, you say it right. Like the word have meaning similar with them, like gladness and exaltation. That can make sense.
Yeah, but it doesn't use one word because we can say it can use one word like gladness or exaltation. But if you see two words, it means it's very important here. Yeah, like yeah, I feel not only gladness, but I feel exaltation. It means I'm very very happy. Yeah,
Yeah,
like
weird.
this.
I mean, like in this book, there's a lot of old words that we haven't been like into. I've never seen these words.
hmm Actually, it's very important because maybe gladness corresponds to the truth, but exaltation corresponds to will and to good, like this, because
Yeah,
it's about
agree.
any work. Because it's about mind.
Yeah,
Gladness and exaltation have been taken away from Carmel, and in the vineyards there is no singing. No jubilation. Jubilation, yeah. Well, jubilation is like exaltation
yeah,
too.
exaltation, same.
hmm
Jubilation.
Exaltation is more like
Jubilation.
gladness. Yeah,
No trader treads the wine in the wine presses. I have put an end to the Hidad. What is this? To
he
the
had
Hidad.
had it.
I don't know.
Hidad.
It doesn't have a
I
translation.
mean,
Maybe
it's like a
I don't know.
sound,
Maybe it's like Hebrew word.
or maybe a city
Hadat.
name.
Yeah, word not found in dictionary.
Put
Okay.
ended.
hmm This stands for the fact that the spiritual church Carmel has been devastated. No one to tread the wine in the wine presses stands for the fact that there is no longer anyone with faith in the same author. The inhabitants of the land will be destroyed by fire, and the humanity left behind will be pittance. Pittance, what is this? Pittance. Will be a pittance. Maybe pythons? Pittance.
Pittance.
Pittance. It's like little coins. It's like money, but
Like peanuts.
like a little quality of money. Like I can show the pictures. Pittance. It's 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 important word to memorize. I think pittance. Yeah, like this. Let me see. Pittance. It's like if you need to have money, and if I will give you any
Something.
coins, little coins, yeah, it's like pittance. Like this. Left behind will be a pittance. The new wine will mourn, the grape wine will drop, they will not drink wine with a song. The strong drink will be better for those drinking it, shouting over the wine in the streets. These verses deal with the spiritual church that has been devastated. The wine stands for religious truth held cheap. Cheap. In Jeremiah, to their mothers they will say, where is the grain and the wine? When they swoon as if stabbed in the city street. What is swoon?
One is like it's like
Swoon.
Faint,
freeze.
freeze.
Maybe
Faint.
freeze things.
Faint and weak, like fainting, loss of
Yeah.
consciousness. Yeah, it's like a sickness because you can have loss of consciousness It's like you don't understand what is going on right now,
Yeah.
and you are like a dead. Yeah,
I'll
it's
come
like.
I'll come back. Give me just 5 minutes. I'm coming.
Mm,
You can read.
mhm. And they swoon as if stabbed. Stabbed like what? Stabbed. It's like drunkard, maybe. I know.
Stabbed.
Pierce.
Pierce. Pierce. Like stabbed. Pierced. As if stabbed. In the city streets. Where are the grain and the wine means where are love and faith? Yeah, we can ask right now, what is going on in the world? Because life is not fair. We don't see, like, we don't see justice, but there are a lot of injustice in the world. But it means that where are love and faith? City streets symbolize truth here, as they do elsewhere in the world. Lions stopped in the streets means that they do not know what truth to believe in. In Amos, I will bring my people Israel back from captivity, and they will rebuild the ruined cities, and settle down and plant vineyards, and drink wine from them. This is, this is about a spiritual religion or Israel, which is said to plant vineyards and drink wine when it is the kind of religion whose faith is inspired by charity. In Zephaniah, they will build houses but not live in them, and plant vineyards but not drink wine from them. This stands for the opposite situation in which a spiritual religion has been devastated. In Zechariah, they will be like mighty Ephraim, and their heart will rejoice as if with wine, and their children will see and rejoice. This is about the house of Judah, which would be as described because of the goodness and truth that characterize faith in John. That they should not hurt, hurt, yeah, it's hurt. They should not hurt the oil or the wine. Hurt like just like harm to harm, injure,
Hurt.
hurt,
Hurt.
hurt, hurt, hurt,
Hurt.
hurt, like injure, wound. That they should not hurt the oil or the wine. This stands for not hurting anything heavenly or spiritual, which is to say any attributes of love and faith. Since wine symbolizes faith in the Lord, in the sacrifices of the Jewish religion, faith was also represented by a libation of wine. What is this libation? Libation.
Libation.
Libation, like drinking of wine. Libation of wine. As a result, these words appear in Hosea. Threshing floor and wine press will not feed them, and the new wine will prove false in that land. They will not live in Jehovah's land, and Ephraim will return to Egypt, and in Assyria they will eat what is unclean. They will not pour a libation of wine to Jehovah. Their libations will not be pleasing to him. In this case, the discussion concerns Israel or a spiritual religion and those in it who pervert and defile the sanctity and truth of faith through their desire to investigate such things by the use of secular knowledge and sophistry. Like sophistry, like knowledge, yeah.
Sophistry.
Sophistry. Egypt is factual knowledge, Assyria is sophistry, and Ephraim is those who engage in it. The meaning of he became drunk, as the fact that they consequently fell into error, can be seen from the meaning of a drunkard in the word. The people called drunkards are those who believe only in what they can grasp with their senses and who therefore make investigations into the mysteries of faith, because they conduct their inquiry by consulting the senses or the academic disciplines or philosophy. The process inevitably leads them into error, human nature being what it is. Our thinking is purely earth-bound, body-centered, and matter-based, because it is formed out of earthly, bodily, and materialistic notions, which cling tenaciously, what is this? Tenaciously to it.
Tenaciously.
Tenaciously. It's like firmly, persistently, stubbornly. Tenaciously to it. Those notions form the foundation and resting place of the concepts that make up our thinking. So to think and reason about the Lord on the basis of such concepts is to lead ourselves into error and perversion. It is as impossible for us to construct a faith for ourselves out of these things as it is for a camel to go through the eye of a needle. The result in error and insanity is what the word calls drunkenness. Drunkenness, maybe. Drunkenness or drunkenness. Let's see. Yeah.
Drunkenness.
We can say drunkenness and we can say drunkenness. Drunkenness. As a matter of fact, soul spirits in the next life who reason shallowly about religious truth and against it come to resemble drunkards and act drunk too. I will have more to say on this later, but the Lord's divine mercy. Actually, it's a lot. Maybe someone wants to continue from this item too. Okay,
I
it
read.
is easy. Yeah, go
It's
ahead.
your time. Okay.
Yeah.
It is easy to tell whether or not a spirit had adopted the faith that comes of neighborly love. Those who have adopted it do not debate religious truth, but affirm it and also corroborate it by the evidence of the senses, of organized knowledge, and of rational analysis, so far as they can. As soon as my obscurity inter- interferes, they reject whatever they cannot perceive and refuse to let it bring them into doubt.
What is obscurity?
Obscurity.
Interferes.
Obscurity.
Mhm. It's like darkness, invisibility. Invisibility. It's like anything what you cannot see or you cannot understand. Maybe if you maybe like uncertainty. Like lack of knowledge. If you have lack of knowledge, it's like you have obscurity. Obscurity interferes like affect, interact,
True effect, yeah.
intervene, like interferes. What?
What they are capable of grasping, they assert, is extremely limited, so that it would be insane to view something as untrue simply because they do not comprehend it. These are the people under the influence of charity. The case is just the opposite with those who do not adopt the faith that results from charity. They lack interest in anything besides arguing whether a thing is true and knowing exactly how matter stands, unless they can.
Asserts. What is this? They assert. We met this word before, but I forgot. They assert like claim, declare. hmm Prove, present, assert. Assertion like this. Unless they can.
They can see what the facts of a case are. They say they cannot believe it to be so. This in itself instantly gives away their lack of belief. It indicates that they not only doubt everything but even deny it at heart. When they do learn how matters stand, they stubbornly raise all kinds of objections, never resting, even if they have to go on arguing forever. And when they stick fast in this way, they heap error on top of error. What's heap? What is heap?
Like heap, like a little mountain, like heap of stones, like uh, it's like heap, like lot of stones, like mass heap. Mm, maybe I can. It's better to show the picture. Heap. It's like heap of shit. Maybe heap. It's like can you? It's about It's heap. I see. It's heap. Like heap of nails. It's and this is heap too. It's like heap.
Yes, I understand. Thank you.
And this is heap. Heap of sand. hmm They heap, and this is a verb here. Verb heap, like to make heap, like to, because heap is a noun on that picture, but in this sense, because noun here is, it's not noun, it's subject. Subject here is they. It's like pronoun, but heap is a predicate, like a verb. It means it's not a noun, but it's like to make heap. They heap error, like they make a lot of error
Mhm.
on top of error. Mm. These people or the ilk. What is ilk?
What's ilk? Is it ilk? Ilk?
Look.
Ilk, like sort type, like type, yeah, or the type maybe ilk. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Those the word describes as drunk on wine or strong drink, as in Isaiah. This air, is it air?
No, I don't know what is it. Error.
Air or ear? I don't know.
Ah,
Ah.
Air.
it's like biron. It's a verb. It means
Mhm.
to be wrong, to make mistakes like this. Error. Yeah, like to make error. It's the verb error.
Ah.
And sin too, synonym sin.
Okay. This air through wine and go astray through strong drink. Priest and prophet err through strong drink. They are swallowed up swallowed up by wine. They err from strong drink. They err in their vision. All the tables are full of cough up vomit.
What is this? Kocht up.
Coughed up.
Coughed up, like cough. Cough. This word.
Expectorate.
Expectorate.
Oh, speed.
It's like cough. Like it's like cough. Coughed up. Vomit, but vomit is like any from stomach. Yeah.
Vomit.
Like
Throw up.
mass of food from your stomach. Yeah.
Vomit.
Vomiting. Like like this. Vomit.
Just whom will he teach knowledge, and whom will he cause to understand the message? Those weaned off milk, those pulled from the breast. What's
What is
weaned off?
wind? Yeah, wind off.
Is it right?
It-
Weaned.
It's like phrasal verb here, maybe here, phrasal verb. And wind. It's like baby who should stop eat milk from breast.
Oh, okay.
Weaned.
Wind, like taken away from
Away.
milk of milk of his mother, like this. It's meant those wind of milk. It's like
Weaned off.
wind off. Yeah, it means they stopped to drink milk of mother, like this.
Mhm.
Wind off.
That such people are meant here is self-evident in the same author. How can you say to Parao? How is it?
Pharaoh.
Parao. What?
It's Pharaoh. Pharaoh. It's the king of Egypt, like title.
Pharaoh.
Pharaoh. Pharaoh. Pharaoh.
Pharaoh.
Pharaoh.
Pharaoh.
Do you know who is Pharaoh? Pharaoh. No?
I
The
just
king
know
of
it's part of Egypt something.
Pharaoh. 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 But yeah, it's Pharaoh. Like this. Cleopatra.
Cleopatra.
She was a pharaoh of Egypt, and
Like a leader?
leader, ruler of Egypt. But Egypt doesn't have pharaoh right now, but it had pharaoh.
Pharaoh.
Pharaoh. Mhm.
Okay. I am the offspring of sages. Is it sages or
Sages.
sage? Sages.
I think it's sages, like my version.
Sages.
Sages, yeah, sages. Sages, like wise men. Wise men. Sages. A lot of wise men. Sages. Like smart men who are wise.
The offspring of the monarchs of old. Where are your sages now? And have them tell. Please, Jehovah has mixed a spirit of perversities in Egypt. Medes and made Egypt go astray in all its work, just as drunkards go astray in their.
Do you know who is drunkard?
I was thinking.
Drunkard. Yeah, who like to drink a lot, like drunkards. And what is perversities, like perversion, perversities, spirit of perversities. Yeah,
Perversities.
perversities, like depravity,
Depravity.
depravity, like this. Immorality, like this. Perversities.
Own vomit.
Go astray in their own vomit. Vomit.
Drunkards stand for those who want to explore spiritual and heavenly phenomena by means of facts. Egypt symbolizes factual knowledge, which is why it calls itself the offspring of sages. Sages. In Jeremiah, drink and get drunk and vomit and fall and do not rise. The drunkenness stands for falsities. In David, they reel and quiver.
Quiva, I think. Quiva,
Quaver.
Oh, quaver.
Quiva. Mhm.
Quaver.
Quava, not Quiva, but Quava.
Quaver.
Quava, like trembling. Quava. For example, if someone is afraid, like scared, he
Yes.
can have trembling like Quava.
Quaver.
And
They reel
real. What is real? Real. It's like swaying. Yeah,
sway.
if someone is drunk, yeah, like if someone is drunk, he is stagger and reeling, like yeah, swaying, real, and clever, like a drunkard.
And all their wisdom is swallowed up. In Isaiah, come, let me take wine and let us get drunk on strong drink, and tomorrow, as on this day, there will be great abundance. This is said of concepts that oppose religious truth in Jeremiah. Every bottle will be filled with wine. All of Jerusalem's residents with drunkenness. The wine stands for faith and drunkenness for error in Joel. Wake up, drunkards, and cry and howl over the new wine, all you wine drinkers, because it has been cut off from your mouth. For a nation is coming up over my land. It turns my grapevine into a desolation. This is about the church when its religious truth has been devastated. In John, Babylon has given some of the wine of whoredoms. Is it whoredoms?
Whoredoms, like house of prostitutes, I think.
Wardoms.
No, it's whoredoms.
Wardoms.
Whoredoms.
No, it's like it's about like prostitution, like this maybe. Whoredoms, but what is not found? What whoredom? But I thought it's like whoredoms. Maybe if you will remove S, maybe we can see right pronunciation. If you will remove S and this
Whoredom.
whoredom, yeah, I was correct. Whoredoms. It's without where. It's without W, but it's whoredoms. Like
Okay.
whoredoms anger. Anger too.
All the nations to drink. Those inhabiting the earth became drunk on the wine of whoredom.
Yeah, this word may be better to translate because hodom is like,
Mhm.
yeah, it's like fornication, lewdness. Mhm. It's like to be mm, to be unfaithful, unfaithful to husband. Like if wife is unfaithful to her husband, it's like she does hodom like this.
Okay. The wine of whoredom stands for religious truth that has been adulterated, which is described as causing drunkenness. Likewise in Jeremiah. Babylon was a goblet of gold in Jehovah's hand, intoxicating the whole earth. Of her wine the nations drunk, therefore the nations go mad. Since a drunkenness symbolized insanity concerning religious truth, it also became a representative condition, one forbidden or bidden.
Forbidden, forbidden. It's like
Oh, yeah, it's a
uh,
one word. Sorry.
Forbidden.
taboo. hmm In this word, how to pronounce prohibited,
Prohibited.
prohibited. It's about rules. Forbidden to err in these words.
Words. Aaron and his sons must not drink wine or intoxicating drink when they are about to enter the tent, or they will die, in order to distinguish between what is holy and what is profane, between what is unclean and what is clean. In addition, people who believe nothing but what they grasp through sense, experience, or factual knowledge are described as heroic or heroic at drinking. In Isaiah, doom to those who are wise in their own eyes and discerning in their own sight. Doom to those
What is heroic?
heroic, like
Heroic?
hero,
Heroic.
It's about hero.
powerful.
Yeah,
Heroic.
heroic. It's like hero and feet. Heroics. Heroic. I know hero like hero, but
Mhm.
heroic like it's about it's the same root because
Like
heroic is the adjective. Mhm. Heroic. Hero is like noun, yeah, but adjective is heroic.
hero, hero,
Героический.
One second.
Heroic.
No, heroic. It is heroic.
heroic,
Doomed to those.
hero,
Doomed to
hero.
those heroic. Mhm.
At drinking wine and to men, uh, valiant at mixing strong drink. They are called wise in their own eyes and discerning in their own sight, because those who argue against religious truth consider themselves wiser than others. But
But people, mm, I don't hear you. But can you hear me? Maybe your connection is broken. Can anybody hear me? I don't sure.
Valiant.
Valiant. Valiant is like brave, heroic too.
Gallant.
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 Valiant.
Valiant.
Valiant. Okay. Okay, maybe someone wants to continue the reading because previous reader lost its connection. Because
Okay, I go.
yeah, go ahead. From this, they're called wise.
Okay. They call wise in mere own eyes and discerning in their own sight because those who argue against religious truth consider themselves wiser than others. But people who care nothing about the word or the truth that makes up faith and who are consequently unwilling to learn anything about faith, in this way denying its chief tenets, are described as drunk without wine in Isaiah. They are drunk and not on wine. They stagger and not from strong drink, because Jehovah has poured out a spirit of slumber on you and has sealed your eyes.
Slumber. What is this? Slumber.
Slumber.
It's like sleepy. Hibernation. Hibernation.
Hibernation.
Hibernation.
Hibernation.
Yeah, I know my PC Windows like operation system has hibernation
Hibernation.
option. Hibernation option. It's like slumber, and has sealed your eyes.
What comes before and after this in Isaiah establishes the fact that this people's character is the one just described. Drunkards of this type imagine themselves more awake than others, but they are in a deep sleep. At its inception, the anxious, the anxious church, especially the people in it who came from the stock of the earliest church, had the nature uh, dep- depicted in this.
What is inception? It's like conception, maybe. Yeah? I know what is conception, but
Inception.
inception like commencement.
Commencement.
And commencement is beginning, like beginning, because it means inception. It's like beginning, like
Yeah.
initi- initi- initiative.
Initiative.
No, initiative.
Initiative.
Initiative. Initiative and beginning. Inception. Depicted in this verse as indicated earlier in the statements. Okay, and next. Go
The
on.
symbolism of he was uncovered in the middle of his tent as the resulting perversions can be seen from the symbolism of being uncovered or naked. The people who is portrayed as
Person.
undercover
Person. You said
also.
people.
Yeah, the person who is portrayed as undercover and denuded by drunkenness on wine is one who has no religious truth, and even more so, one in whom that truth is perverted. The actual truth that composes faith is compared to closest, in that it provides a covering for the good that comes of charity, or for charity itself. Charity is the body itself, and truth, as a result, is the clothing. Or to say exactly the same thing, charity is the soul itself, while religious truth is like the body that clothes the soul. The word calls religious truth closes off a covering, which is why verse 23 below says that Shem and Japheth took a
Mhm. This word clothes, maybe. Let's see.
Clothes.
Clothes. Yeah, you said like clothes. It's clothes.
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 Clothes. Clothes.
Clothes.
Clothes.
Clothes.
Clothes.
Clothes. Yeah.
Mhm. Took a garment.
And covered their father's nakedness. The relationship of spiritual entities to heavenly one is that of the body to the soul it clothes, or like that of our garments to the body that clothes. In heaven, spiritual things are also represented by clothes. Since the present verse says that Noah lay under cover, the meaning is that people deprive themselves of the truth that fit or expose exposes through their desire to explore this truth. The true
Hmm. It's interesting to see a distinction um, between clothes and mhm, clothes and clothes. Yeah. Do you see this word? How to pronounce
Clothes.
clothes like this? Mhm.
Clothes.
Clothes. Clothes.
Clothes.
Clothes.
clothes.
It's like little difference. Yeah. It's clothes, but this word is like clothes.
Yeah, clothes.
Clothes.
Clothes. Like clothes. Clothes.
Clothes. Clothes.
Clothes.
Clothes.
Clothes.
Yeah. The
And
ending sound
cloth.
different.
Cloth. Mhm. It's difficult. Mhm.
Yeah. Empirical data and therefore shallow logic. Lying naked from being drunk on one symbolize the same things elsewhere in the word as in Jeremiah. Rejoice and be glad, daughter of Edom, living in the land of Uz. The goblet will also pass over you. You will become drunk and go naked.
You will become drunk and go naked. It's funny.
Goblet.
Goblet is like, what is goblet? Goblet is like, yeah, it's like a big,
Wine glass.
uh, yeah, yeah, like uh, bowl of wine, goblet. Hmm. Goblet. Maybe you can see goblet in picture. Yeah, it's like, yeah, to drink big goblet glass like this. Goblet.
Goblet. Okay. Goblet.
Hmm.
Uh, and in Habakkuk, doom to those who cause their companion to drink, and also intoxicating them in order to look on their naked parts. The fact that the middle of the tent is the primary concern of one's faith can be seen from the symbolism of the middle and of the tent. In the word, the middle symbolizes the deepest core, while a tent symbolize neighborly love or, or worship based on that love. Love for others is not the core. That is the primary concern of faith and worship, which makes it which makes it the middle of the tent. The symbolism of the middle as the deepest core has been demonstrated above for the fact that a tent is the holiness of love or charity. See above. Genesis and Ham, father of Canaan, saw his father's nakedness and and pointed it out to his two brothers outside. Ham and Canaan have the same symbolism here as before. Ham symbolized the church corruption,
Corrupted.
what Canaan symbolized an outward show of worship without inward content. He saw his father's nakedness means that they observed the errors and perversions mentioned above, and pointed it out to his two brothers outside means that they sneer at those things. The two are called his brothers because these people claim to have faith.
Sneered. What is that? Sneered.
Sneed.
Oh,
Like
sneer.
scoff, mock, ridicule. It's like haha.
Yes, sneer.
Mhm.
The symbolism of Ham as the church corrupted can be seen from the things said about him previously. A religion is called corrupted when it acknowledges the word and engage in a kind of worship resembling that a true religious but still detached faith from charity and so from its essential quality and its life. In consequence, faith becomes a dead thing, and in consequence, the religion is
Consequence. I forgot. What is it? Consequence.
Consequence.
It's like impact, result. Sequence. Consequence. It's like impact, result maybe. And in consequence are like and in result. The religion is inevitably corrupted.
yeah. What the people of such a religion turn into can be seen from the fact that they cannot possibly have any conscience. No conscience exists that actually is conscious except one that grows out of charity. Charity, or rather the Lord working through charity, is what creates conscience. What else is conscience but refusing to wrong anyone in any way? That is, doing right by everyone in every way. So conscience is a matter of charity and never a matter of faith detached from charity. If the people mentioned do have any conscience, it is a distorted one, concerning which see above. And since they lack conscience, they plug into every sort of
Plunge maybe. Plunge.
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 Plunge. Like drop, dive, jump. It's like deep, immerse. Plunge.
Plunge into every sort of wickedness, so far as external restraints fall away. As a matter of fact, they do not even know what charity is, only that it is a word with some meaning or others. And because they lack charity, they also do not know what faith is. When asked, they can only answer that it is a form of thought. Some saying that it is trust, others that is religious knowledge, feel that it is a life according to that knowledge, and hardly any that it is a life of charity or mutual love. If we tell them this and give them a chance to think about it, their only response is that all love begins with oneself, and that those who fail to take care of themselves and their own are worse than heathens. Accordingly,
What is
their
this?
pursuit
Heathens.
Heathens.
heathens,
Heathens.
heathens.
It's like Gentiles, like ignoramus,
ignoramus,
ignoramus, like who has no knowledge, like stupid, like pagans,
heathens,
heathens, Gentiles, savage people like this, barbarian,
barbarian,
barbarian. Okay, heathens.
Accordingly, they pursue their own interests and worldly advantage exclusively. The result is that they live a life of self absorption. The nature of human selfhood has already been described several times before. These are the people referred to as Ham. Since the people called Ham and Canaan here, that is, the people who detach faith from charity and therefore consider external acts alone to be worship, cannot see what conscience is or where it comes from. A few words must be said on subject. Conscience is a form through religious truth, because the thing we hear, acknowledge, and believe are what create conscience in us. From though, from then on, to violate those convictions is for us to violate conscience, as anyone can be clearly enough. This is why we can never acquire a true conscience unless the things we hear, acknowledge, and believe are the true tenets of faith. It is by means of religious truth, when the Lord stirs out our sense of charity, that we are regenerated. So it is through religious truth that we receive conscience, and conscience is our actual new self. This demonstrates that the truth ideals embraced by faith are means to this end, namely of living by the lessons that faith detach and the shift.
Teaches. Faith
Sorry.
teaches.
Oh,
It's about
yeah, yeah,
teacher teaching.
yeah, teachers.
Hmm.
That the lesson that faith teaches. Yeah, and the shift lesson is to love
Chief,
the Lord. Chief, yeah, chief.
chief. Mhm.
Chief lesson is to love the Lord above all and to love our neighbor as ourselves. If we do not live by those lessons, what is faith but a meaningless curiosity and a hollow word, or something disconnected from heavenly life? Nothing detached from that life can ever provide salvation. To believe that we can be saved no matter how we live, as long as we possess faith, is to say that we are saved even if we lack any charity, and even if we lack of conscience. It is to it is to it is to claim that even if we spend our life hating people, taking revenge, loathing, committing adultery, in short, violating charity and conscience in every way. Still, as long as we possess faith, even a faith adopted in the final hour of death, we can be saved. Ponder this. Then, if you what a bit a
Ab-
bit
abide, abide, abide.
abide,
It's like
ab-
follow,
abide.
obey. It's about law. For example, if you
Oh,
obey,
obey.
follow
Yeah.
any law, like rule, abide.
Yeah. Okay. If you abide by a principle of force as that, just what kind of religious truth is it? Is it that forms your conscience? Is 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 it not fixity? Any trace of conscience that you imagine you have consists only of superficial restraints, fear of the law and fear for your rank, your money, and the prestige this thing bring you. Such inhibitions create in you what you call a conscious, preventing you from hurt.
Inhibitions.
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 Mm-hmm. It's like it's inhibitions, like prohibition. It's like any you shouldn't do what you shouldn't do, like what you mustn't do, like this. Yeah,
Yeah, inhibition. Oh, yeah,
mustn't. Inhibition.
yeah,
And what
Svetlana,
is restraints?
restraints.
Restraints.
Restraints like moderation, isolation, restriction. Mm. Mhm. Pe- Hurting.
Hurting. Hurting your fellow creatures and prompting you to do good to them. But because this is not conscious, since it is not love for others, people like you plunge eagerly
Plunge.
into plunge, sorry, plunge. Okay, plunge eagerly into the worst possible crimes and obscenities when those external
What is that? Obscenities, like crimes? Yeah. Oh no,
Obscenities.
it's like obscenities, like mad, foul language, profanity. Mm-hmm.
Tawdry.
Bawdry. It's like maybe it's like to do bad things.
yeah
To speak bad things.
obscenities, yeah,
Obscenities. For
obscenities.
example, if a troll comes here and like we hear mud or foul language,
Obscenities.
this means he does obscenities.
Yeah,
Obscenities.
Mat.
Mad. Like dirty language.
yeah.
But your situation. Mhm.
Crimes and obscenity when those external restraints loosen or dissolve. But your situation after death is radically different if you say that faith alone saves and yet live a life of charity anyway. Because in that case, your faith contains charity was that best bestowed by the Lord.
Bestowed.
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 Like given, granted. Grant.
Bestow. All
Mhm.
right.
Bestow.
Bestow.
Bestowed.
Bestow. Okay. The symbolism of Father of Canon as an outward show of worship without inward content has been mentioned before. Faith detached from charity can produce no other kind of worship because the inner self consists in charity, never in faith without charity. So people devoid of neighborly love are completely incapable of any other type of worship than an outward show without inward content. Since it is faith detached from neighborly love that produces this sort of worship. Ham is called Canon's father, and the following verses speak not of Ham but of Canon. The fact that he saw his father nakedness means that they observe errors and perversion is established by the symbolism of nakedness as that which is evil and what's that perverted. discussed just above, as well as earlier in people who adopt faith separated from charity are depicted here by Ham, and the notice he took of his father's nakedness, that is, of his father's errors and perversions. Those are the only things that people like this can see in another individual. But it is different from people who have the faith that comes of charity. They take notice of good qualities, whatever evil or falsity they may see. They excuse it, and if they can, they work to correct it in the offender. As the present passage says, Shem and Japheth did. Where neighborly love is absent, self love is present, along with hatred for anyone who does not cater to oneself. This is why people who lack neighborly love see
Keita.
cater. Cater.
Cater.
Keita, like serve, provide. It's like
Cater.
you cannot serve, take care. If you cannot take care about yourself, it's like you cannot cater yourself. Like take care,
Yeah.
cater.
Cater. Cater.
hmm Who lack neighborly love see
See nothing in their neighbor besides that neighbor's evil. If they see anything good in a person, they either dismiss it or put a bad interpretation on it. People governed by charity act in an entirely different way. These differences, these different differences form the distinction between the two types of people, particularly when they enter the other life. Those who lack all kindness radiated hatred from every part. They want to examine and, in fact, judge,
examine, examine,
examine,
Examine.
examine,
examine. All right, examine,
like
examine.
study, investigate,
Yeah,
and every pore, like yeah,
Poor.
pore.
examine.
It's like pore in from every pore. Okay, I can't explain.
Yeah,
hmm
examine. But everyone and crave nothing more than to find evil, constantly bent as they are on condemning, punishing, and torturing others. Those who are guided by kindness, on the other hand, hardly even notice evil in another, but pay pay attention instead to everything good and true in the person. When they do when they do find anything bad or false, they put a good interpretation on it. This is a characteristic of all angels, one they acquire from the Lord, who bends everything bad towards good. Yeah, thank you.
it was a lot. Yeah, maybe you can see. It's like after you can read maybe two two pages, and someone can read next verse, Genesis nine
All right,
23. Mm-hmm.
all right. Okay. The fact that he pointed it out to his two brothers means that they sneer at errors and perversions. Now follows logically, since people devoid of charity always feel contempt for others. In other words, they always mock others and broadcast the fault of others whenever they find an opportunity. If they do not discreetly, it is only superficial restraints that impede them. fear of the law, fear of their life, and fear
Im-
of
impede.
losing rank.
What is this? Impede.
Impede.
Impede. Mhm.
Impede.
Impede like detain, restrain. To make something
Impede.
like difficult to do. Okay, impede. Mhm.
Impede. Yeah. Losing rank, money, and prestige accompanies such things. As a result, they nourish these impulses deep down while putting on an outward show of friendship. In doing so, they acquire two auras, which are clearly perceived in the other world. One in the what?
The inner one.
One inner one is full of hatred. The other, the outer ones, mimics goodness because these uh, auras are at complete odds with one another. They cannot help clashing, and the consequence is that when such people are stripped of their external aura and can no longer pretend, they hurt themselves into every unspeakable weakness when the external aura is not removed. Hatred lurks in every word they utter and and is perceived, and this lead to punishment and agony for them. The two are called his brothers because these people claim to have faith, as can be seen from proof in showing that charity is faith's brother. Genesis,
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah, thank you very much. It's the next verse. Maybe someone wants
All right.
to
Thank you.
continue.
I continue.
Yeah, go ahead.
Right. Genesis and Sam. And Japheth took a garment, and both of them put it on their shoulder, and went backward, and covered their fathers' nakedness, and their faces were backward, and they did not see their father's nakedness. Sam is noted symbolized the inner church. Japheth the corresponding outer church. They took a garment means that they put a good interpretation of the situation. And both of them put it on their shoulder means that they did so without all their might. And when backward means that they paid no attention to errors and perversions. And covered their father's nakedness meant that in doing so they excused those wrongs, and their faces were backward. And they didn't see their father's nakedness means that they know the proper thing to do, and that we should not concentrate on such wrongs, which are blunders, and downfall resulting from misguided thinking.
Blunders. It's like
Blunders.
blind, no? Blunders.
Blunders.
Blunders like gross
Mistake.
error, mistake. Mhm.
Like
It's
doing
like
something wrong.
Roughest mistake.
roughest mistake, like big mistake, which are blunders. And downfalls like mistakes too, yeah, I think. No.
Downfalls.
We call it
Down,
for text and
Downfalls.
but it's like
collapse.
downfalls. Collapse, yeah, like fall. Maybe downfalls, but pronunciation maybe we can hear. We can hear here.
Downfall.
Yeah, downfall. Downfall.
Downfall.
Resulting from misguided things. Misguided things.
The symbolism of them as the inner chart and Chavez the corresponding outer chart has already been mentioned. where research exists, there has to be an inner dimension and an outer dimension, since a human being who is a child has an inner self and an outer self. Until a person becomes a child, there is, until a person has regenerated, he or she lives on the surface. While regenerating, we are led away from superficial considerations, or rather by means of them, to deeper ones and explained all and illustrated already. Afterward, when we have been reborn, external elements form a perimeter around all the contents of the inner self. So in every religion, there has to be an inner church and an outer church. Take the ancient church for instance and
Perimeter. Yeah, perimeter.
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 It's like circle.
Circle.
Circle, like round.
Yes.
Periphery. Perimeter.
The Christian church today, the inner aspect of the ancient church, were all the things that go to make up charity, and the faith that grows out of it. All humility, all veneration of the world resulting from charity, all good feelings toward one's neighbor, and other qualities like these. The external aspect of that church were sacrifices, libation, and other customs, all of which were reminders of the Lord because of what they repeat, replay.
What is libations? Yeah, libations. What is this?
Libations.
It's like
Drink.
drinking. Drinking, yeah,
Libation.
drink. Libations. For example, any drunkard likes to do libations like this. What they represented.
They
Represent.
represent, and all of which focused on Him. They were inner attributes, then inside the outward practices, and they created a single church. The inner aspects of the Christian church were exactly like those of the ancient church, although different outward practices took over. Sacrifices and so on were replaced by symbolic acts that likewise drew attention to the Lord. So inward and outward elements again formed a single entity, ini. The ancient church and
Entity.
the entity, okay.
Entity. Entity is like essence.
Entity.
Entity, object, element.
Let me see. The ancient church and the Christian church differ not at all in their deeper values, only in their outward rituals. Worshipping the Lord in the charity can never differ, no matter how much the outward expression varies. Moreover, since a religion cannot exist unless it has an inner and an outer dimension, I state the inner dimension without the outer one without some external counterpart owned.
Counterpart. What is it? Counterpart.
Counterpart.
Oh, duplicate or copy.
Mhm. Copy and colleague, partner. And maybe in this sense, what it means, the outer one without some external counterpart. In this sense, like external counterpart, I think it's like equivalent, maybe. External. Analogy, maybe. Copy, maybe. Okay, I don't understand clearly. Okay, in which to rest.
The rest would be figure and ill-defined. People most of them anyway are said that they do not know what their inner self is or what belongs to it. So unless the unless there was the normal shape, they would not have the least idea
Last
what holiness
list
is.
list list
Least,
idea.
yeah, least
Mhm.
idea
Like
what
small.
holiness is. Mm, yeah. As long as such people possess neighborly love and a conscience based on that love they have inside themselves, within their outward worship, a deeper form of worship. This is because
List is a small. Let's see. Small.
list.
Yeah.
Least.
Like less. It's like less least. Actually, list is about. It's like beat a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah, like minimum, something like that.
Yeah. It's like minimum. It's like low. It's not like about small, but it's like about less, low, minimum. Okay. This is because
The Lord is at work within them in their charity and their consciences, and let all their worship
con-
deeper. Conscience,
this word, yeah, conscience,
conscience, conscience,
conscience,
Conscience.
conscience.
conscience. Right.
Conscience.
Mhm. Like inner voice. Conscience is like your inner voice you hear.
Mm. These are otherwise for those people have no love for others and therefore no conscience. They are able to engage in a show or of worship, but it is disconnected from any inward content, just as their faith is disconnected from charity. This kind of worship is called canon, and this kind of faith is called harm. And since a disconnected faith generates this kind of worship, harm is called canon's father. The way that they took a comment means that they put a good interpretation on the situations followed from the earlier comments. Taking a comment and covering someone's nakedness has to symbolize this when uncovered condition and nakedness. Symbolize error and perversions. The fact that they put in on their shoulder means that they did so, that is, put a good interpretation on the situation and co and excused and excused
Excuse. Mm.
yeah excused as with all they might can basing from the symbolism of the shoulder as all the person's mind. In the word a hand symbolizes power demonstrated before. And a arm symbolizes even greater power. But a shoulder symbolizes our power. This symbolism can also be seen in the following places in the world. In Ezekiel, with side and you shoulder, with side and shoulder you push, and with your hand you strike all the alien shape until you scatter them outside. The push with side and shoulder stands for doing so with all one's soul and all one's mind, while striking with the horn stands for doing so with all one's strength. In the same order, so that all the inhabitants of Egypt will recognize that I am Jehovah, because these have been a staff of reed to the house of Israel. When they says you by the palm, I will set pieces and split their shoulder. This describes people who want to use faith to investigate spiritual truth. The staff of reed stands for the power to do so. Seizing by the palm stands for being confident and splitting the whole shoulder. Stand for being stripped all of power so that they know nothing. In Zephaniah, so that they may all call on the name of Jehovah, so that they may serve him with a single shoulder. This stands for doing so with one soul and consequently with united power. In Zechariah, They refused to hate and turned defiant soda. This stand for the fact that they resist with all they might in Isaiah. They hire a metalsmith who makes gold and
How to pronounce this word? Power.
Power.
Yeah, because you say this word like power,
it's
but
like
actually
power.
it's power.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry.
Power.
Okay.
Yeah. So you see transcription power. Power.
Power.
Power. But you say like power.
Is that American English?
Uh, I mean, this word.
Yeah,
Say this word.
I know. Is it American English?
Maybe this is American. We can hear American. I think this word is power.
Power.
Power. In American, power,
Power.
but not power. You say like
Oh,
power.
okay.
Yeah.
Power.
This is transcription. Power.
Power.
What about British? Is that still power?
Power. Yeah.
All
Am I
right.
correct?
Okay.
Yeah, it's power. Because I hear
Right.
pronunciation like power, but you say like power.
Oh, yeah. I'm sorry.
I think it's not correct. Yeah, because to say power is not correct. Than to say power. Maybe power is more correct. Yeah. hmm They stands for doing so with one soul and consequently,
The
yeah,
next
with
page.
united. Next
The next
page.
page.
Makes gold and silver into gold.
Silver into gold. They worship. They also bow down. They bury and they saw that they carry it about. This stand for the fact that they worship the idol with all they might, which is to carry it on they saw that. In the same order, a child has been born for us, a son has been given to us, and sovereignty will be on his shoulder, and his name will be called Miraculous, Counselor, God, Hero, Eternal Father, Prince of Peace. This speaks of the Lord, and he specifically of his power and authority, which is what it says, which is why it says on his shoulder in the same order. I will put the key of David's house on his shoulder, and he will open, and there will be no one closing, and he will close, and there will be no one opening. This verse likewise treats of the Lord putting the key of David's house on his shoulder, stand for his power and authority. Thank you.
Thank you. Who is next? Okay, I'll continue. The fact that they went backward means that they paid no attention to errors and perversions can be seen from the meaning of going backward as averting one's gaze and not seeing. This meaning is also corroborated below where it says that they did not see their father's nakedness. In the inner meaning, not seeing something is not paying attention to it. The fact that they covered their father's nakedness means that in doing so they excused those wrongs can again be seen from context. It is also established by the symbolism of nakedness as perversions. Their faces were backward and they did not see their father's nakedness means that this is the proper thing to do and that we should not concentrate on such wrongs which are blunders and downfalls resulting from misguided thinking. This can be seen from the repetition involved since these words are almost exactly the same as those directly above. taken together, they also bring the matter to an end, because in this parental, like it's from parents,
Parental.
parental, parent, parental. In this parental church, or in a person in this church, misdeeds sprang not from depravity, depravity or depravity, depravity.
Depravity.
Depravity, like corruption, perversity, immorality, depravity. Pranks, not from depravity, but from naivety. What is it? Naivety.
Nifty.
It's like from French. I don't understand. Maybe in dictionary. No, it's not. It's not English word. Naivety. Misdeeds sprang not from depravity, but from naivety. This is indicated in the very next verse, which says that Noah woke up from his wine, or in other words, learned better. To delve. What is delve? 1 second. Delve.
Delve.
Delve, like deepen, penetrate. Search. To delve more deeply into the subject, people lacking in charity think nothing but evil and speak nothing but evil of their neighbor. If they have anything good to say, it is only for their own benefit, or else it is an attempt to ingratiate, maybe. Tempt,
Attempt.
like effort, try. It is an attempt to ingratiate. What is this? Ingratiate. Ingratiate.
Ingratiate.
Ingratiate, like this. Ingratiate, like ingratiate. Maybe in dictionary. Ingratiate.
Ingratiate.
Yeah, ingratiate.
Ingratiate.
Ingratiate. It's like to gain favor or favorable acceptance for by deliberate efforts, usually used with. Okay. Ingratiate themselves with the person under the guise of friendship. But people who love their neighbor think nothing but good and speak nothing but good of others. They do so not for their own sake or to carry favor. What is carry? Like carry? Carry.
Curry.
Carry, like make, like suck, like carry. Or to carry favor with another, but because it is what results when the Lord stirs their sense of charity. The former are like the evil spirits, and the latter like the angels we have with us. Evil spirits always arouse bad impulses and false ideas in us, and they condemn us. Angels, though, arouse or arouse,
Arouse.
arouse, like awaken, wake. Angels, though, arouse only good impulses and true ideas, and whatever is evil or false they excuse. All of this shows that individuals lacking in charity are under the control of evil spirits who keep us in touch with hell, while individuals endowed with charity are under the control of angels who keep us in touch with heaven. Mhm. Genesis 9:24. Who wants to read maybe?
I read if
Yeah, go ahead. Mhm.
okay. Genesis 9:24. And Noah woke up from his wine and realized what his younger son had done to him. Noah woke up from his wine means when they had learned better, and realized what his younger son had done to him means that external worship, cut off from internal worship, is by nature contempt, con, contemptuous.
Mhm. My version is like
Toast.
contemptuous, maybe contemptuous.
Contemptuous?
You you
Contemptuous.
think contemptuous? Okay, let's see. My version
Okay.
contemptuous.
Contemptuous.
Ah,
Contemptuous.
contemptuous. Yeah,
Contemptuous.
contemptuous. Yeah.
Contemptuous.
Mm-hmm.
Contemptuous.
Contemptuous is like haughty, scornful, contemptuous. For example, like I can say, my cat is contemptuous with my dog, like contemptuous, like haughty,
Okay.
like nature contemptuous.
The fact that Noah woke up from his wine means when they had learned better is evident from the meaning of waking up after drunkenness. Since in verse 21, being drunk symbolized falling into error, waking up simply means awakening from error. What his younger son had done to him means that external worship cut off from internal worship is by nature contemptuous in the literal meaning. The narrative, his younger son, seems to mean Ham, but the next verse indicates that it means Canaan because it says, a curse on Canaan. And the subsequent verses say that Canaan will be a slave for the reason why Ham goes unmentioned. See what is said at the next verse. The only thing left to explain here is the reason.
Actually, let's see in dictionary this word because I think it's like
Contem-
despise. Yeah, I want to see synonym because I remember like despise. Maybe it's like contemptuous. Yeah. Let's see.
yeah, like
Contemptuous.
expressing deep hatred or disapproval.
Mm-hmm. Like manifesting fear or expressing deep hatred. Ah, it's about like deep hatred or disapproval, feeling or showing.
Disapproval.
Mm-hmm. It's like synonyms. Synonyms. Scornful, despise. No, I don't see despise. Okay. I don't know. Maybe it's like despise, but not. I don't sure. Okay. Contemptuous. The only thing left to explain here is the reason.
For an arrangement that lists Shem first, Ham second, Japhet third, and Canaan fourth. Charity, Shem, is the first step of religion. Faith, Ham, is the second. The second, worship growing out of charity, Japhet, is the third, and an outward show of worship, devoid of faith and charity. Canaan is the fourth. Charity is the brother of faith, and so too the worship that grows out of charity. But a show of worship without any base in charity is a slave of slaves.
It was a short, and you
Maybe
can
someone wants to
continue.
read.
Mhm.
Others, I think, want to try. If not, I'll continue. Okay. Okay. Abrar, you want to read?
Genesis, and he said, a person, Canaan, as a slave of slaves, he will be to his brothers. A person, Canaan, may answer that outward worship detached from inner worship turn into its back on the Lord. A slave of slaves, he will be to his brothers, symbolize the lowest function in the church. The fact that a curse on Canaan means that the outward worship detached from inner worship turn
Det-
its back
detached.
detached. Okay, detached from inner
It's
worship,
detached. It's like
Detached.
separate.
separate, detached.
From inner worship turn its back on the Lord. Is establishment, be the symbolism of Canaan, and be the symbolism of being cursed. Canaan is outward worship detached from inner, as can be seen from what was said about Canaan earlier, and also from his being described
Being.
as cursed,
From his being.
from his being described as cursed. Again, it can be seen from what follows. Why he is called a slave of slaves, and why he is called a slave of both Shem and Japheth. Is it Japheth?
Yeah, Japheth, like this. Japheth.
This can only mean something detached from genuine religion, as worship con- const- okay,
Consistent.
consisting, okay, consisting only of external forms is. The meaning is established by the symbolism of being cursed. Is that being cursed actually means turning one's back. The Lord never cursed anyone. He does not even get angry. Uh, it is we instead who cursed ourselves by turning our backs on the Lord. For discussion of this, see what was said and shown above. The Lord is as far from cursing or being angry at anyone as heaven is from earth. He is all knowing and all powerful and rules the universe in wisdom. So he is infinitely above all weakness. How can anyone believe that he would indulge is in anger against such worship just as we human beings are, who hardly even know what we are doing and on our own can do nothing but evil? For this reason, the Lord never feels anger, but only pity. Even though human, Ham was the one who was his father's nakedness and pointed it out to his brothers. It was not he who was cursed, but his son Canaan. This alone indicates that the verse involves a hidden meaning. Canaan was not Ham's only child or even his firstborn, but his fourth, and Janus, the law make clear why Ham's children are listed as Cush. I don't know how to pronounce the name, sorry.
Mizraim,
Mizraim?
Put, and and Mizraim, like this. Maybe you can see.
Mizraim.
Mizraim. Cush, Mizraim, Put, and
and
Canaan.
what is more, the divine law was
Divine.
that of divine,
It's divine.
like division.
No, it's like God. It's about what belongs to God, an equality of God.
Divine.
Divine, like holy, sacred, heavenly, godly. It's about
Okay, I
God,
get that.
like holy, divine,
Divine.
divine law, like God
Divine
law.
law was that offspring was not pure, their parents' sin and Ezekiel shows. The soul that
Ezekiel.
has sinned, Ezekiel, okay. The soul that has sinned, the soul shall die. A child shall not carry the weakness of the
How did you say this word?
peer.
Beer. Beer is like to drink beer, but it's beer. It's not
Bear,
beer. Yeah, it's not
okay.
about drinking.
There.
Beer.
Uh,
Yeah, it looks like beer, but it's not beer because people drink beer, but it's bear. It's like bear their parents sin, like carry. Yeah, bear. Yeah, like carry, bring, bear.
parent, okay. The parent not shall parent carry the weakness of the child. Okay. Anyone want to continue from here?
If you're tired, yeah, you can stop and maybe
I
someone
gotta
one
go,
can.
sorry.
Mm.
Thank you.
Thank you for reading. Who wants to continue? Maybe.
Can I try
From,
read?
yeah, yeah. Go ahead
Yeah.
from
Okay.
this.
Uh, yet another indication is the fact that the sin, seeing his father's nakedness and pointing it out to his brothers was so mild that it never could have been grounds for cursing his entire past. Past.
What is
What?
this
What is
posterity? Posterity.
posterity? Posterity.
Posterity.
It's like future generations. Like
Posterity.
offspring, like children, like yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Lineage.
Lineage.
Lineage. Mm-hmm. Posterity. These
These
considerations.
considerations,
What is considerations? Like I know what is consider.
Considerations.
Considerations like discussion, review, considerations. Okay.
considerations clarify the fact that the verse contains a hidden meaning. The reason that not Ham but Canaan is
Men-
maintained, maintained,
mentioned. So it's
mentioned,
like mean.
mentioned
Mentioned.
here is that Ham symbolizes faith detached from a neighborly love in a spiritual religion. Such faith
Religion.
cannot be cursed. Religion. Such faith cannot be cursed because in a spiritual religion, faith has a holy quality. Since it contains truth. Also, it is not faith as long as there is no charity. Still, science,
Sin.
religious knowledge, and
Sins.
knowledge as
This
religion.
word is.
Since,
You said science.
okay,
It's sins.
Sins.
since,
Sins.
since, okay, okay. Enables us to regenerate and eat. It can be linked with charity. So, in some measure, it as a brother, or at least can become a brother. That is why Canaan was cursed and hurt him. In addition, most of the inhabitants of the land of Canaan were such that they completely identified worship with outward acts. The Jews there just as much as the non-Jews. These are the secrets hidden in the text, and had it not been for them, Canaan would never have been substituted.
Substituted.
sub-
Substituted.
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 Mhm.
Substituted.
Substituted.
It's like replaced. Substituted. Mhm. Er,
Substituted for
oh,
him.
yeah. hmm
The fact that all outward worship separated from inward turns its back and so brings a curse and itself is sufficiently apparent from the focus of people whose worship is external. They look toward worldly, bodily, and earth, earthly,
Earthly. Earthly.
earthly, earthly values downward, that is, and immerse their character and their life in such things. People like this are described just below.
Sufficiently. What is this?
Sufficiently.
Sufficiently.
Sufficiently. It's like adequately, quite,
Adequately.
adequately, maybe like sufficiently. hmm
Simon, next.
Are you finished? Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
yes.
Thank you. Who wants to continue? Maybe.
Yeah, I go.
Go ahead.
The symbolism of a slave, he will be to his brothers as the low, lowliest function in the church, can be seen from the nature of outward worship separated from inner. External worship veiled, veiled in itself, without anything internal to sanctify it, is nothing as anyone can see. What is outward devotion without the heart's devotion but a gesture? What is what is prayer on the lips without any thought behind it but blather? And what is all?
What is blather? Blather?
Blather.
Blather.
What
It's like chatter. Like blah, blah, blah.
yeah,
Blather.
non
Blather.
Chattering like this. And,
or
and what is given?
given that without the intent behind it, but a kind of nonentity, nonentity,
An entity. Yeah, what is this non-entity? It's like
Non-entity.
nothing. Nothing. It's like
nothingness,
it's like
Naught.
not and nothingness. Non-entity.
nonentity.
Nothingness.
Nothingness. It's like nothing. Nothingness and
Insignificance.
insignificance. Okay.
Insignificance. So every ex- exterior by itself is a lifeless thing. Only the interior can give it life. Many observations in the outer life have made it clear to me what outer worship without inner worship is like. People who are witches and and sorceress. What is that? And
Sorceresses, I think. Sorceresses.
Sorceresses.
Sorceresses. It's like witch. Do you know who is witch? No? Sorceresses, witch. Okay, I can show the picture.
all right.
Sorceresses. It's like maybe from Harry Potter. There are a lot of sorceresses. Like
Oh,
Harry Potter book.
yeah, I
Do you
see.
see? It's like mm, like witchcraft. It's about witchcraft. Like this maybe picture like sorceresses, witcher. It's women like who do evil miracles like this. Sorceresses, witches. Mhm.
Sorceresses. Okay, where am I? Okay, they attended church and took the sacraments as often as anyone else were still alive in the world. So did chiefs, who attended even more faithfully than others. The same is true for those who like preying on others and for missiles. Yet they are hellish and cherish an intense hatred for the Lord and their neighbor. The inner world the inner worship within them, outward worship, had consisted in the effort to be seen by the world, or to obtain their worldly, earthly, and bodily desires, or to deceive people by devout, devout appearances. Either that or it was the result of entrenched habit.
Entrenched.
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 Entrenched. It's like rooted, fixed, hardened.
Entrenched. Entrenched.
Entrenched.
Entrenched.
Entrenched.
Yeah,
And
entrenched.
what is misers or misers?
Miser?
Misers.
Misers. Misers like greedy person. Misers
Misers.
like this.
Misers. Misers. Okay. Such individuals are eager to adore any god or idol that caters to them and their corrupt desire. This is especially obvious from the Jews of the Old Testament, who view worship exclusively as a matter of superficial appearance and as a consequence often fell into idolatry. Worship of this kind of inherent unmitigated idolatry, since outward forms are what the devotees worship, not just in the land of Canaan too, who
Unmitigated. Unmitigated.
unmitigated.
Unmitigated.
It's like absolute, full, unmitigated.
Absolute.
Absolute, total, unmitigated. Canaan too.
Who worship, what's that? Balls?
Baals. It's like
Baal,
false. It's like gods of people of Canaan. It's like name.
Vowels.
Baal.
It's like names of their gods. Like they had a lot
Okay.
of gods, Baals, like and other gods. Do you see? And other gods.
Yeah, and other gods had almost the same forms of worship. They had not only temples and altars, but sacrifice as well, so that the outer form of their worship differed very little from that of the Jews. The only difference was that they named Baal, Ashtoreth, or some other deity as their god, while the Jews named Jehovah as theirs, just as they do today. They thought that the mere use of Jehovah's name would make them the holy, chosen people. The reality, however, is that it brought them into greater damnation than others, since they were then capable of profaning something holy, which non-Jews were not. Such is the nature of the worship called Canaan, who is said to be a slave of slaves. To learn how it is that a slave of slaves is the lowliest function in the church, see the treatment of the next verse.
Thank you very much. And this reading is over today because I have to go. And we can read this verse tomorrow. And,
All right,
Thank you.
thank you.
Bye bye.
mhm,
See you tomorrow.
Good, goodbye. See you.